Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, CXH, and today I want to show you how I make my favorite seafood vegetable fettuccine. So without further ado, let's jump in, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. So we're going to start by prepping all of our vegetables. I'm going to take one onion, I'm going to cut it in half and clean off all of the skin. I usually take off the top layer as well because it usually has skin attached. And then we're going to make lengthwise cuts along it without actually hitting the root. And then we'll make cuts going lengthwise, again, not hitting the root, and this is going to create a beautiful small dice when we start to cut it across, as you can see here. Now we're going to move on to our zucchini. We're going to cut off the stem, and then we're going to cut it down lengthwise in half, and then we're just going to cut it into these little half sliced coins. That's the best way I can think to describe them. After that, we're going to move on to our bundle of carrots. We're going to start by cutting off the stems, and then we will take our carrots and we are going to clean them. And with the power of filming and editing, they are cleaned. And then we're going to go ahead and actually make sure all of the stems are taken clean off. Followed by peeling all of the carrots. And because these carrots are fairly thin and even inside, we're just going to slice them into these little coins. When you're chopping, if you decide you want to chop fast, go right ahead. Just I would suggest when you get near the ends to slow down, because you do not want your fingers to be part of any meal. Believe me, you just don't. And when all your veggies are prepped and cut, just set them aside on a plate because we will be needing them very soon. First things first though is we have to get some water on. So we're going to boil some water, and we are also going to make sure that we add salt to our water. You want to be pretty generous with the amount of salt that you add because this is going to help your pasta to get a little bit of flavor itself as well as not stick. Now in the biggest pot you have, for me that was this wok, we will heat up some olive oil, and then we're going to go ahead and add in our onions. We want to saute these until they are a little more translucent and soft to the texture. And then when it's at that point, we're going to go ahead and add in about a tablespoon of garlic. And this garlic is finely minced. We're just going to saute that with the onions for about 30 seconds to a minute. Once you smell garlic, you know you're good to move on to the next step. And our next step is going to be adding in our carrots that we have already cut and sliced. And we're just going to add those in, and we're going to saute those for about 5 minutes because it's going to take them a little bit longer to get nice and soft and a little more al dente. And then when we have those sauteed, we're going to add in our zucchini. Zucchini is super quick when you're cooking it. You're only going to need to cook it for about 2 minutes. And once we are done with sauteing our vegetables, we're just going to set them all aside on a plate because we are going to be needing this wok for our next step. We're going to add a little more olive oil to our wok and let that heat up, and then we're going to go ahead and add our seafood. I have equal parts of raw thawed shrimp and raw thaw scallops, and we are just going to cook these until the scallops are tender and our shrimp has turned from gray to pink. And I made sure to get rid of any excess water throughout the cooking process just to know that they were cooking a little more evenly. Once you're done with these, you're going to again set these aside with the vegetables because you're going to need them later. Once my water was boiling, I did add my fettuccine. You just want to cook it per the instructions on the box. But honestly, that's like the easiest part, so just make sure to give it a couple stirs every now and again. Don't forget about it. And then back to our wok, we are going to add in 2 tablespoons of butter because we are going to create a roux. So you want to put your butter in, and you're going to just let that melt on your stove. And once it is all melted, we are going to go ahead and add in some flour. So you want to do equal parts of flour and butter. Just sprinkle the flour right over top of the butter, and then with a whisk, you're just going to whisk it until you get a really thick paste. Add more flour if needed. And when you have that really thick paste, you want to cook it off for about a minute so it gets rid of that raw flour taste. We will then add in about 1/3 of a container of half and half cream. I start with a little and then I mix it just to make sure that roux is nice and smooth. You do not want it to be lumpy throughout your sauce. It won't taste good. And the reason I use 3/4 of a cup of the cream is because if you have leftovers of this fettuccine, you want to add a little bit of cream to it every time you have to warm it up, because it's just going to help create that sauce and make it liquidy and beautiful each time you eat it. So as you saw, I added that cream in stages till the roux was smooth, and then I just went ahead and added all of it, all while whisking. And then we're going to season it with some salt and some pepper, because it wouldn't be good if there was no flavor. And then you want to continue to whisk it till your mixture comes to a boil. Once it's at a boil, it's pretty much going to be as thick as it's ever going to be. In the case it's not thick enough, just mix some more butter and flour on the side and slowly incorporate it into it until it is to your thickness desired. We want it to coat the spoon, and when you run your finger through it, the sauce should stay in place. So ours is perfect and good to go. And we're gonna add back in our vegetables and our seafood to it, and then give it all a good toss with the spoon. And at this point, your pasta should be done. So the best way to test if it is done is to just take a taste. Grab one and eat it. And if it's done, drain it. And then we're gonna add our drained pasta to our sauce. We're gonna give it a good toss. Honestly, it was just the easiest with teaspoons. I tried with tongs and it just wasn't working. This was way faster and easier, so just do 2 spoons. And with that, you are done making your seafood vegetable fettuccine. I hope you guys liked this video. This is one of my favorite meals to eat. And if you did like it, hit the thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe below for new videos every Monday and Thursday, and make sure to leave a comment for what you guys want to see next time. And until next time, guys, bye!